The absolutely beloved Jose Aldo fights this Saturday in his return to MMA against Jonathan Martinez, a rising contender with 6 straight wins, his last 2 coming by leg kick TKO. The question that I'm attempting to answer today is, can Jose Aldo make one last run at that bantamweight title? Jose Aldo returns after nearly 2 years off, about a year and 8 months, from his loss to Merab Dvalishvili, and before that he was on a little bit of a title run, but obviously seeing where Merab is now, that win doesn't age so badly. The fact that it was in Salt Lake City, it was a very boring fight, and Merab kind of just held him against the cage, couldn't get any takedowns. Aldo still had it. I think back then he still had it, and the question is now, does he still have it? He faces off against Jonathan Martinez, who is on quite the win streak and is a very good all-around fighter with tremendous kicking game and solid boxing as well. The big question for me, at least, is the leg kicking game of Jonathan Martinez. And Aldo, renowned as one of the best leg kicking defenders in MMA history, completely disregarded the leg kicks of Pedro Munoz when Pedro just spammed calf kicks over and over. His disdain for calf kicks, as Jack Slack called it. I'll reference Jack Slack in every video, I don't care. Biggest Jack Slack friggin' fanboy right here in front of you. Yeah, he defended the leg kicks really well. He primarily defends those leg kicks against orthodox opponents, but now it's a southpaw, and Jonathan Martinez is not afraid to throw hard inside leg kicks, and he just destroyed the legs of Cub Swanson and Adrian Yanez. It is Yanez, right? Because I just watched the fight and he was saying how he wanted his name pronounced as Yanez and not Yanez, or Adrian Yanez. I feel like Aldo will have no trouble turning the knee in and checking an inside leg kick, and once he begins to check that inside leg kick, and Martinez is going to have to start throwing it to the body and to the head and mixing it up. My one concern for Jose Aldo is his record against southpaws and people who mix in the southpaw stance is not great. From all the fighters that I knew, I went all the way down to his UFC debut when he was already the champion, but he's 2-5 against southpaws. I didn't check every opponent that I didn't know early in his career, but against southpaws that I knew, or people that mixed up in southpaw stance, he's 2-5. He lost to Holloway twice, obviously. I feel like Holloway was mostly orthodox, but he did switch a little bit. Marlon Vera, he won that fight, and Marlon Vera mixes in some southpaw as well. Petr Yan mixes in southpaw, and then obviously McGregor, and then Florian. So his 2 wins are Marlon Vera and Kenny Florian. Kenny Florian is a pure southpaw, and honestly, if you do a body type comparison and kind of a weapon comparison, I feel like Jonathan Martinez might be closest to Kenny Florian in terms of an opponent that Aldo has faced that is similar to Martinez. But obviously the game's evolved a lot. That was in 2011. It's 13 years on now. Will age have caught up to Aldo? Because I really don't think it caught up to Aldo in 2022 against Merab. I thought he had an amazing performance. Given what Merab has done to Petr Yan and to Henry Cejudo, Merab has looked unbelievable. And the fact that Aldo stuffed all of his takedowns, didn't the fight never got out of hand in terms of Merab just dominating, and Aldo was not even too gassed. You could tell he was slowing down a little bit in the third. In Salt Lake City at altitude, you got to take that into effect. But with that year and more than a half off, he was boxing though. He boxed Jeremy Stevens. I think he had 2 other boxing matches maybe that were on UFC Fight Pass. So he was staying fit. But 2 years off of MMA nearly, will that come into play? I want to be a hopeful thinker right now and really think that Aldo can get going to the body and check the inside low kicks of Martinez, land with counter knees as Martinez looks to come in and throw his hands. A vintage Jose Aldo performance would just be beautiful to see. And 3 rounds. We're in Brazil. He's the king of Rio. I don't know his record in Brazil, but I don't think he's lost there. Volkanovski beat him in Brazil, which was pretty cool. But I don't think he's lost much there. So I'm going to lean on the side of Jose Aldo is going to get it done in Rio against Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez has never faced anyone to the level of Jose Aldo, and the low kicking game is going to be dealt with by Aldo. Aldo's going to go to the body. He's going to counter with those knees to the body that he did really well against Merab, as Martinez gets his kicking game kind of like stuffed. I could see Martinez, because he trains at Factory X. They are a good gym, and they game plan relatively well, I want to say. If they're looking at a fight that they can kind of implement a style, I would say for them to look at the Volkanovski fight, be really kicky on the outside, just touching inside low kicks, because Volkanovski was landing those inside low kicks against Aldo, but they were just like little taps. They were like jabs, like no like torque that Martinez throws in his inside low kicks, and Volkanovski was mostly orthodox in that, and Volkanovski also mixed in that clinch game and holding him up against the fence and kneeing the thigh, kind of like the Merab game plan, because you're not taking Aldo down. And I don't think Martinez will go in there looking to take Aldo down, but kind of just being kicky from the outside, feigning a lot. Like, they could take a lot from Volkanovski in that sense, but I don't know if Martinez has that intricacy, that level of intricacy that Volkanovski had with the feinting and the changing levels and threatening, like, the takedown threat a little bit, because Volkanovski was, like, taking people down before that and ground and pounding them. So I'm sure Aldo was thinking, like, oh, this guy's going to want to wrestle with me, but the level changes, inside low. Like, I don't think Martinez has that type of game to give Aldo that much concern. So I think Aldo's going to win this one. Will he make a title run, though, after this? Depends how he looks in this fight. Let's take one fight at a time. Aldo's going to win this weekend. That's my prediction. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching, and peace.